All right, welcome back to the Virtue Bowling Supply YouTube channel. My name is Chris, and I'm here to bring you guys the high rev perspective.
And my name is Josh, and I'll be bringing the low rev perspective.
Today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Track Paragon Fire, and I'm going to be comparing that to the Track Paragon Shadow and the Hammer Black Widow 3.0 Dynasty.
And I'll be comparing it to the Hammer Zero Mercy Solid and the Hammer Spawn. These comparisons will give us and you an idea of what these pieces look like going down the lane. At the end, we will give our honest, unbiased review anywhere from nuts to trash. With that being said, we are here at Bolero Mesa on a fresh house shot, so make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys out on the lanes.
All right, after seeing the Paragon Fire go down the lane, the Paragon line has been one of my favorites, especially the Paragon Shadow. It's something I've been throwing for a while now, ever since it came out. It's been one of my favorite balls, and when I saw this one come out, I was actually really surprised and kind of curious to see what this one looked like going down the lane. And with this one being a solid version of that Shadow, I thought it was going to be earlier and smoother, but honestly the Paragon Shadow feels way more blendy and smooth off the end of the pattern than the Paragon Fire. I was able to move further left because it definitely needs some oil to float through the front part of the lane, but it definitely felt quicker. It didn't want to tumble quite as much as the Paragon Shadow, so to me I was a little confused in that aspect because I figured the solid version would be a little bit smoother off the end of the pattern, but it definitely was not for me. So now I'm going to go ahead and throw the Paragon Shadow and see how that compares. All right, after seeing the Paragon Shadow go down the lane, it definitely confirms my ball motion that I've been seeing out of it for a while now. Definitely has a little bit of lane shine on it because I've been using it quite a bit, but it wanted to blend the friction a lot more than the Paragon Fire. There's a few shots in there with the Fire that got to the friction just a little bit too quick, and it jumped off of it, went through the face. And those same shots I threw with the Paragon Shadow blended it a little bit more. They still went high, but were more like 4-9, like trip 4-9 ball motion, more forward. So I didn't quite get those split ball reactions. So now I'm gonna go ahead and throw the Black Widow 3.0 Dynasty and see how that compares. All right, after seeing the Widow 3.0 Dynasty go in the lane, I think these two fit a pretty similar spot with that and the Paragon Fire. I do think straight out of box, the Paragon Fire has a little bit more friction response, and it actually wants to kind of make the corner. The Black Widow 3.0 Dynasty definitely, to me, feels a little bit smoother down lane, especially now. I do have quite a few games on it now because I've been throwing it quite a bit, but this one definitely feels a little bit smoother. I need to play a little bit further to the right, kind of use more of the friction to make it turn the corner. I had no problem with the Paragon Fire moving left and kind of throwing it there, and it never really quit. So definitely feel like the Black Widow Dynasty is just a little bit smoother off the end of the pattern. Final thoughts on the Paragon Fire. To me, this kind of felt like a little bit stronger of a 3D offset assault. With this being super bright red, it kind of reminded me of that ball, and I really like that ball out of box. I thought it was one of the better ones, and this having that same similar kind of feel and look going down the lane, but with a little bit more friction response and actually having enough teeth to get the oil in the front part of the lane. I think this ball motion was really good. I did notice how it did shine up a little bit quicker than I anticipated. This one coming with a little bit of surface out of box, it lane shined pretty quick, and I kind of figured that's why it was a little bit more quick to friction the more I threw it. But to me, I think this is one of the kind of weaker, strong and smooth balls that are going to be really useful for someone with a higher rev rate. It's not going to be too early, and it's not too quick to friction, even though with some of the shots I had today, I still think it's going to be pretty controllable and usable. So I think I'm going to give this one a fire. I really like this one going on the lane.
Ball for me felt like a kind of smoother-ish big ball. I felt like it wanted to get through the front a little bit, but still had a big core, big engine to where it still could have hooked in oil. There was a couple of shots where I kept a little bit more in front of me, and it tried to get off spot, which I really liked. However, when I got it to friction, it definitely wanted to go really early, so I just had to be a little bit what I call friction aware as to when I got it there, just to make sure that it was getting there at the right zone. But as I continued to move further left, I felt like this ball had a cleanness to it to where I could just kind of, for me, try to hit up on it and really allow that ball to really shape down lane. I feel like that's one of its good attributes, is that it was really nice going through the pins because it retained energy, which a lot of big balls sometimes lack. So now we're going to go ahead and throw 5 shots with the Zero Mercy solid and see how it compares. For me, this ball is definitely a ball up. I would say it just had a little bit more early hook to it than the Paragon. I felt like it also allowed me to kind of open my angles a little bit more, just because I feel like with the Paragon, if I got it to quick friction too quick, it was too angular, where the Zero Mercy, it was more forward off of it and kind of tumbled a little bit more, just allowing it to be smoother and not so quick or jerky to friction. So now we're gonna go ahead and throw 5 shots with the hammer spawn and see how it compares. Just threw 5 shots with the hammer spawn. This ball for me was more similar to the Paragon than the Zero Mercy. I felt like they both had that similar cleanness through the fronts. However, I did feel like the spawn was just a little bit earlier in my opinion, but I also felt like it was smoother off friction. But overall, like, I'm being very nitpicky. These 2 balls are very, very close. I just felt like the Paragon was a little bit sharper and continued more, where the hammer spawn just had a little bit more roundness to it. Final thoughts on the Paragon Fire. For me, this ball was a little bit difficult because at first I wasn't sure how I was going to like it, but as I threw it more, the more I liked it. So for me, I feel like this ball is going to have to sit in fire. It was kind of close to pushing nuts, but I just felt like it needed to basically help me, like, if it could hook in areas where I could miss with, I felt like that's the one thing it lacked, was just the amount of miss room, where I felt like the other balls that, you know, I do give nuts, typically I have just a little bit more overall miss room, where again, like with the Paragon, I felt like my one miss, if I got it right, it just really had no chance. So for that reason, it's still going to be a fire. Still rolled great, just wasn't the ultimate miss room type ball. So fire for today.
Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video useful, make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.